Hi, this is Nikki with Nikki Sweets and Adornments. Why don't you come and make some baby shower cupcakes with me? Let me go over the materials you need for this project. I have cupcakes that I've already frosted, and I'll show you how to frost one of the cupcakes. I have 3 different bags with the frosting and coordinating colors. I have one that is an Azteco 866. I have a 1M tip with yellow. And then I also have a Wilton 127. We're gonna make these little fondant decorations for the top of our cupcakes. So of course we'll need some fondant. I have that here. I have it in the green and the white and the yellow color, and I used Color Mill to make both the color for the frosting and for the fondant. And I have it in lemon and I have it in mint. We're gonna need, I'm gonna paint some of the fondant. So I have edible luster dust and gold, and I've put that here in my palette. And I've mixed it with a little bit of vodka just to make it more like a paint, along with some edible paint brushes. In the middle of the palette, I actually have water. That's gonna be our glue for all of our different pieces. I have some cutters to cut our circles. This is called an embosser. So that's what I use to make this one that says "Oh Baby," and it has the raised letters. And also I have lots of different fondant molds, and I'll show you how to use those in just a minute. But these are really cute because they're all baby themed. You'll need a fondant roller. Occasionally I use an X-Acto knife just to cut things out. And sometimes if my fondant gets a little bit sticky, I have cornstarch in this little puff, and I just put it on my work surface like that, and it just ensures that my fondant doesn't get too sticky. And then when I'm all done, I'm gonna sprinkle with different colored sprinkles. And then just to make this little rope here, I have a clay extruder. I'm gonna put just a little circle on the end of it. I'll show you in a minute, and we can just pull out this rope. Let's start by making some of these fondant decorations. I'm gonna need 2 of the bigger green circles. So I'm just taking out my fondant, giving it a quick knead so it's not quite so stiff. And then I'm just gonna dust my surface a little bit with my cornstarch. Gonna roll to the ends and then stop, turn it. So I get it the thickness that I like. I'm gonna take my circle cutter and twist it so I get a nice clean cut. There's one of my circles. And I just need one more. So I'm starting to make these 2. I'm gonna take my yellow, just give it a quick knead. So I think instead of making this one blue, I'm actually gonna make it yellow. And then if you see, this one actually has a small yellow circle in the center, so I just use a smaller color. I'm gonna go ahead and cut that out now. And then using my water as glue, I'm just gonna put some water in the back of the circle and put it in the center. I pre-made these little feet, but I'll show you how I made them. I have this mold with the little feet. And what I typically do is I'll find the molds I want to use. So I'm going to use, these are a little bit smaller. And I'll kind of dust it and then just shake off the excess. I'm going to need my white fondant. And what I try to do is I try to kind of estimate how much fondant would fit into the mold without overfilling it. It's actually a little bit better to actually underfill it than overfill it. It's hard to get the excess off. And if it sticks, see how it's sticking to my fingers? That happens sometimes. So I just take my cornstarch and dust it again. And then that way it should just not stick as much. And if you do have any excess, like right now I have a little bit of excess, I'm just gonna kind of rub it off like that with my finger. Now at this point, the fondant's gonna be really soft. So these are kind of things maybe that I would make ahead of time, just like I made these ahead. And now these are nice and rigid. So I can actually stick these on with my water. And we'll move on to this one right here. So I made a couple of these with the molds ahead of time, just so you didn't have to see me do every single mold. But this mold was a little bit different. It makes this really long leaf shape. And if it's a mold like that and it's really shallow, I'll actually kind of pre-roll it a little bit before I put it in the mold. And then it just makes it a little bit easier to conform into that shape. Okay, and then I can just take it out. The mold actually kind of makes it so it's a straight leaf, but I actually kind of curved it a little bit to make it this kind of semicircle shape. So now I can start gluing on these components. So I had one leaf like this. I had another leaf like that, and then I'll start doing, I just made some flowers in the coordinating colors. And the flowers I made in the same kind of molds as well. The big and the little flower. For this decoration here, I'm actually going to use an embosser. So I'm going to take my yellow and knead it. I'm going to dust my surface just a little bit. I'm going to start rolling it out just to kind of get it going. Then I'm going to place it over. And I'm rolling it so that I get all of the letters into the fondant. And then you'll see the cute "Oh baby." And I'm just gonna take my cutter in the size that I need and just cut it out. For my last one, I actually pre-made these. I just have molds that I used. So I used this one for the onesie and I just put the green in there, and then this one for the bib, and I just let them dry. So they're kind of supposed to look like they're on a clothesline. So I'm gonna stick them on and then I'll show you how to make the clothesline. So in order to make a nice even strip like this, I'm actually gonna use a clay extruder. So I'm gonna start with the white fondant and I'm just gonna roll it into a snake. That way it makes sure that it gets into the clay extruder. And then the clay extruder has a lot of different attachments. I'm gonna use the one that's a circle. Now this is something, you could roll it by hand, but the problem with that is it's not going to be a nice even strip, so that's why I really like my clay extruder. And obviously that's way too long, but just going to kind of see how much I need. And for this one, it's a little bit thicker, which I'm actually okay with. If you wanted to go smaller, you just go with a smaller circle in your extruder. And once I know it's the right size, I'm just gonna put my water down as glue, just to stick it on. I wanted to show you how I made a lot of these accents gold. And in order to not make a big mess, I'm actually gonna put some of these pieces on a paper towel. I thought that if I paint them gold, they'd almost look like little charms. And sometimes if you let your gold sit for a while like I did, you'll notice it'll get thick. So I'm just gonna add a little bit more vodka just to kind of thin it out again. And actually, since some of these are a little bit bigger, I might switch to a little bit bigger brush. So I made little rattles with my molds and a little duck and a little teddy bear. If you feel like your gold is ever kind of looking a little bit streaky, you can always kind of let it dry and then come back and give it a second coat. I think they look cute, like little jewelry charms. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this one that says "Oh Baby," and I just wanna make the "Oh Baby" kind of stand out a little bit more, so I'm actually gonna paint it gold. And it's not nearly as hard as you think it's gonna be because with the embosser, it actually kind of lifts up the letters so they're raised. So really what I'm doing is when I'm painting, I'm just kind of thinking about just painting the raised parts. Wasn't bad to outline with gold. I would say though, if you're gonna have a really fine font like this, I would use a really fine paintbrush just like I did here. For this one, I actually painted the outside gold too, so I'm gonna also do that for this one. And then I just need to stick on my little gold teddy bear. Let's see, I'm gonna put him right here. And if I were you, I would actually let these dry a little bit before you stuck them on. And then just for a cute little detail, I painted this heart gold as well. gonna move on to the cupcakes. I did a rosette for 4 of them because I'm gonna put the little fondant decorations on those. And then 2 of them I did a little bit more of an elaborate design. So I have my Wilton 127 and this is what the tip looks like. The bigger end I'm actually gonna put down. And I'm just gonna kind of do kind of a backwards and forwards motion with the small part of the tip kind of facing up. And then with my 1M tip, I'm gonna do a little rosette up here, like that. Then I'm gonna take my green, this is a tip 877, and I'm just gonna fill in with stars. This video doesn't concentrate a lot on piping, but if you'd like some more piping techniques, I actually have a couple videos that I'll link below. I found these sprinkles, they're from Sweet Tooth Fairy. You can find them at Michael's. And I thought they went really well with the color scheme. So I'm just gonna sprinkle it on this one. I already sprinkled on that and I'm not gonna do the other ones because you won't see them with the fondant decorations. So I think the Oh Baby would look cute right in the middle. Put that one right here. I'm gonna put a little teddy bear here. I'm gonna put our little feet over here. And I'll put close with the clothesline over here. And then I want to put our little jewels. They look like jewels to me at least. On these cupcakes here. And that's it. What do you think of our baby shower cupcakes?